Taylor Swift never left country music. Even when her friends told her it was time to try something new, she stayed right where she felt at home, singing about love, heartbreak, and small-town life. Her voice became a symbol of honesty and hope in the world of country music. She grew up on a Christmas tree farm in Pennsylvania, just like she did in real life, but instead of moving to pop, she kept writing songs that told stories. Her fans loved her for it. They said her words made them feel like they weren't alone. One cold winter morning, Taylor packed her guitar and old boots into her car. She was going back to Nashville, Tennessee, the home of country music. It had been years since she first arrived there with big dreams and a notebook full of songs. Now she was known as the Queen of Country, but she still acted like the same girl who used to write songs on her porch swing. She pulled into a quiet town called Willow Creek. It wasn't far from Nashville, but it felt like another world. There were no flashing lights or loud concerts here, just trees, open fields, and people who knew each other by name. Taylor had bought an old farmhouse there. She wanted peace, quiet, and inspiration. She missed writing songs that came straight from the heart. As she stepped out of her car, the wind blew through her hair. The smell of pine filled the air. She smiled and whispered, "It's good to be home." Inside the house, she found a dusty box of old notebooks. One of them was from when she was just 16, full of songs she had written about her first crush, missing her family, and dreaming of being a star. She flipped through the pages and laughed at some lines she thought were so deep back then. But she also remembered how much those songs meant to her. That night, she sat by the fire with her guitar and started playing one of the old tunes. The melody was soft and sweet. As she sang, tears rolled down her face. Not because she was sad, but because she remembered why she started singing in the first place. The next day, she met some kids at the local school. They asked her questions about how to write songs, how to deal with fame, and what advice she had for young musicians. "I think the most important thing," she said, "is to always stay true to yourself. Don't change who you are, just to fit in. If your music comes from your heart, someone out there will feel the same way." After the talk, a little girl named Lily shyly handed her a piece of paper. On it was a song she wrote about losing her dog. Taylor read it and smiled. "This is beautiful, Lily. You've got a gift." Lily beamed. That moment changed her life. A few weeks later, Taylor invited Lily to help her record a new album, not in a big studio in Nashville, but in a cozy barn behind her farmhouse. She called it Heartland Memories, and every song told a story. Some were happy, some were sad, but all of them were real. When the album came out, fans fell in love with it. It reminded them of the beauty of simple things, like falling in love under the stars, dancing barefoot in the rain, and holding hands with someone who really sees you. At the Country Music Awards, Taylor won Song of the Year for a track called Grandma's Porch Swing. It was about growing up, saying goodbye, and learning that memories never fade. Backstage, a reporter asked her, "Taylor, do you ever miss pop music?" She smiled and shook her head. "Nope, I found my home in country music, and I'm never leaving." Later that night, she stood on stage and looked out at the crowd. Thousands of fans waved signs that said, "We love you, TS," and held up glow sticks shaped like hearts. She took a deep breath and said, "This one's for everyone who has ever felt lost and found their way back." Then she began to sing. Her voice echoed through the hall like a warm hug. People cried, danced, and clapped along. Even the band members smiled through their tears. And as the final note faded into the night, Taylor knew one thing for sure. She had followed her heart, and her heart had always belonged to country music. After the awards show, Taylor drove back to Willow Creek. The sky was full of stars, and the moon lit up the country roads like a silver ribbon. As she pulled into her driveway, she saw something that made her heart skip. There were fans camped outside her gate. They weren't loud or pushy, just a few kids with guitars, singing some of her old songs around a small fire. She got out of her car and walked over. "Hey," she said, with a smile. "You all sound amazing." One girl, no older than 14, looked shocked. "T. Taylor, oh my gosh, we love your music so much. We came here hoping maybe you'd hear us sing." Taylor sat down on the grass beside them. "Well, I'm here now. What are you playing?" The group played 3 of her songs and even one they wrote themselves. It was about missing someone you love and hoping they come back. Taylor clapped when they finished. "That was beautiful. You all have real talent." Then she pulled her guitar from the car and sang a few songs with them. Her voice blended perfectly with theirs. For those few hours, they weren't famous singers and a superstar. They were just friends making music together. Later that night, as the fans packed up to leave, Taylor handed each of them a note. On it she had written, "Keep singing. Your voice matters." The next morning, Taylor woke up early. She loved the quiet mornings in Willow Creek. No phones ringing, no emails, no rush, just coffee, birds singing, and a notebook waiting to be filled. She sat on her porch swing and began writing. The new song was about finding joy in little things: fresh pancakes, old boots, and the way sunlight looks through trees. By noon she had the first verse and chorus. She smiled and whispered to herself, "This could be magic." A few weeks later, she invited local musicians to help her record the song. They met in the same barn behind her house. There were fiddles, banjos, and even a harmonica played by a man named Joe, who used to play with legends. They laughed, played, and recorded for 2 days straight. When it was done, Taylor knew this album would be special, not because it was perfect, but because it was full of love. When Heartland Memories dropped, it flew up the charts. Fans loved how real it felt. One review said, "Taylor didn't just make a country album. She reminded us what country music is all about." Soon after, she announced a tour, not in big stadiums, but in small towns across America. She wanted to bring music back to the people who inspired her songs. At every stop, she invited local young artists to open for her. Some sang their own songs. Others played instruments they'd practiced for years. Each night ended with Taylor saying the same thing: "This is where dreams begin." And in the crowd, more than a few kids left with tears in their eyes and hope in their hearts. Because if a girl from a Christmas tree farm could change the world with her songs, then maybe, just maybe, they could too. Taylor Swift's decision to stay in country music didn't just change her life. It changed the lives of countless fans, young artists, and even the direction of the genre itself. Her songs became more than just music. They were stories people could see themselves in. Whether it was heartbreak, joy, hope, or healing, Taylor sang about real life in a way that made people feel seen and loved. Over the years, she opened music camps for kids in small towns, donated instruments to schools, and helped launch the careers of new country singers who stayed true to who they were. She never chased trends, she chased truth, and because of that, her music lasted. Even as time passed and new stars rose, Taylor remained a symbol of kindness, courage, and honesty in every note she sang. So if you're someone who loves music, or writing, or dreaming big, remember Taylor's story. You don't have to follow the crowd to be successful. You don't need to pretend to be someone you're not to be loved. All you need is a voice, a dream, and the courage to follow your heart, just like Taylor did. Now it's your turn. Pick up a pen and write your story. Grab a guitar and play your song, or simply share something you love with the world, because your voice matters, and somewhere out there, someone is waiting to hear what only you can say.